it's Robin, and I just love to help people who are struggling to make it through each day feel better so that they can fully participate in life's great adventures. So I wanted to share a little bit more about my decluttering process and how it's helped me in the bathroom. And I did some research before I did my decluttering in my bathroom, and I wanted to share with you what I did and what worked really well with it, in case you're thinking of doing it yourself. So one thing that I'm noticing is that if you're anything like me, you're not a big lover of bathroom cleaning. I don't mind it compared to washing floors, that I hate, but it's way easier to do now that there's not stuff on my counters that I have to move around and work around to clean my bathroom. I'm much more likely to do it, and it's way easier to do. So that's one benefit, especially around the tub. I don't have kids' toys around there, and just less stuff to move in and out of all of the spaces. It's making it so much easier. And doesn't it look nice, with nothing on the counters? I have just my soap by the sink, some Kleenexes, and our toothbrushes in a little cup, because I don't like toothbrushes in a drawer, because then it tends to get messy in there. I like to keep it in the cup, and then it's easier to clean. So what I did is, if you have a lot of drawers, like we have 6 drawers and then a cupboard under the sink plus a medicine cabinet, you can have a lot of stuff stored in there. And what I would often do is just shove stuff in so it looked nice on the top while I was cleaning up, and then stuff just builds up if you're not selective about what you're keeping and giving away. And it can be really overwhelming if you take everything out at once. So what I did was I took the stuff off the counters first, and then I sorted it. And you want to sort it according to some different criteria. You want to throw out anything that's expired, because let's face it, medicine, cosmetics, they can get really germy, and you need to be replacing those frequently. Things that expire, like sunscreen, I don't know why I had sunscreen in my bathroom, but I did. Face creams, all that stuff, like ointment, all that stuff can expire. And so you want to make sure that it's not, or that if it is expired, you're tossing it. And you may need to look into how to dispose of medications in your area. Lots of times you can take them into the pharmacy, so it's not going into, like the ground and seeping into our water system and all of that fun stuff. If you have more than one thing of something, if you have duplicates, either have a plan to use it up. Like I found that I had 3 things of deodorant. Well, I don't need 3 things of deodorant, but 2 of them were almost gone. So I actually kept all 3, and then now I'm down to 1 because I've used the other 2 because they were so close to being done. So if you have a plan, that's okay. If you have like 50 things that need to be used up, you probably don't need to keep them all. You probably should get rid of some and maybe just keep your favorites. If you haven't used it, chances are you're not going to. That's what I found. If you got a gift of something that's super lovely and you're like, oh, I love that idea, but you never use it, get rid of it. Give it to somebody who will use it and really enjoy it, and have that extra space just as the breathing room in your home. My husband goes to hotels a lot, and sometimes he brings home, those little tiny things. Or if we go somewhere as a family, my kids always want to bring home those little tiny bottles from the hotel. And I always think, oh yeah, I'll keep that because it'll be good to use to travel. Well, first of all, it's not usually big enough if we're going on a trip, because it's not going to last a week or 2 weeks or whatever. And then I forget to pack it, and so it just is left in my drawer. So I got rid of all of that stuff. If you have a stockpile of something, so I was reading one of the things I was reading in my research talked about how somebody had like 5,000 Q-tips. And so I think that's a bit excessive. If it's going to be something that's going to take you 5 years to use up, okay, great. If you have extra, say, Q-tips, let's continue with that example, because if maybe you buy the 3-pack at Costco and there's like 200 in each one, so it's going to take you a few months to use them. If you have storage outside of your bathroom, you don't have a lot of space in your bathroom, maybe store them in there. Or if you feel like you don't want to use up that space in your bathroom or elsewhere in your house for storage, it's going to cost you maybe a tiny bit more, but overall maybe it's worth it to just buy a smaller package at, Shoppers Drug Mart or something, so that you don't have that extra stuff to store. group things together by what they're used for. So I started with the stuff on my counters, and then I went drawer by drawer, and I dumped out each drawer, and I went through and I threw out the garbage, because there's a lot of garbage, a lot of things that just weren't useful anymore, were expired. And then I started sorting them into, like, so nail polish had like spread through all my drawers, or nail care stuff, hair stuff, elastics that I use every morning for my hair. And then there's stuff that you use every day. So maybe your face cream or hairspray or whatever. You want to keep those things together because you want to have those easily accessible. The whole point of this is to make it easier for you, right? So group them together by what they're used for. But don't put them away after each drawer. You want to go through all of your drawers, even the area under your sink, and then once you have it all organized and grouped, a bunch of stuff tossed out, then what you should do is not worry about organizing it, but look through it again. Okay, so now you have all your face creams. Like, what if you have 5 face creams? Do you really need 5 face creams? Do you use 5 face creams? Chances are you have a favorite, and you know the other ones give you a rash, but you don't want to throw them out because you don't want to be wasteful. Well, I think it's just as wasteful to keep stuff that you don't need and aren't going to use. Either give it away and let somebody else use it, or throw it away if it's truly not useful to anybody. So make sure that you go through each category of items and go, like, the stuff that I use every day. Do I really use that stuff every day? Is there duplicates that I don't need? You know, in terms of your hair stuff, is there stuff, like I threw out a bunch of hair clips and stuff that there was a time when I used them and did my hair like that, but it has been years. So I threw out all that stuff, and honestly it wasn't even in good enough shape to pass on to anybody. I just tossed it. Make sure you remove anything that actually doesn't belong in your bathroom. If it's not appropriate to be stored in your bathroom, you don't use it in your bathroom, don't keep it in your bathroom. And lots of times stuff migrates in and you just throw it in a drawer to put it away. But it's important to have a pile for that and then go put it away where it belongs. And say it goes in your kitchen or in your pantry or in your office. You don't necessarily have to find a spot for it now, but just go put it in that area, and then when you deal with that area, you can find a home for it. So just get it out of your bathroom, put it with the stuff it belongs with. There was a couple things I had to really, admit to myself, was that I'd gotten into some bad habits, and one of them was around shampoo. So I grew up really being taught that you needed to absolutely use every little bit of everything, but it's such a pain to get the last little bit of shampoo out of a bottle, especially when it has a pump on it. And so I would never do it. So I wouldn't throw it out, but I wouldn't use it all up either. So I had all these bottles of shampoo that were almost empty in my shower. And since I started this process, I think I've thrown out 3 or 4 big bottles because there was 2 uses left in it. So I used it up and threw it away. So now what I've done is put 1 shampoo and 1 conditioner in my shower, the ones with the least in them. And when I get to the point where it's hard to get out, I'm not going to bother. I'm giving myself permission to just throw it out at that point and not, empty every last little bit, because clearly I wasn't doing that. And then I'm not going to have 10 bottles of shampoo and conditioner to move out every time I want to clean my shower, which really does, limit. It builds that barrier in your mind about how cleaning is more difficult. So the easier you make things for yourself, the more you're going to do them. So that really made a difference for me. And also something that's made a difference for me mentally was that this bathtub, when we bought this house, I was so excited about this bathtub, and I was like, I'm going to have baths in there every day. And honestly, I didn't. Because I used it for my kids, and there has been kids' toys around it, and if I wanted to have a bath, I was in amongst kids' toys or spending a time cleaning them up before. And so I have now finally cleared away the kids' toys. My kids rarely bath, and I have put a few toys in one of the drawers, and if they use them, then I'll leave them there. If I find that in a few months they haven't even touched them, out they go. So another thing I've done is there's things that you find that you're like, oh yeah, I bought that face scrub because I have an issue with my skin and I wanted to deal with that, but you're not using it, right? So make a deal with yourself that either you're going to use it or you're going to throw it out. Set a reminder on your phone for say 2 weeks down the road, And when that reminder goes off, if you have not used that stuff, you're not gonna, so toss it. But it's also a good reminder to go, okay, yes, those are things that were important to me and I want to get back into them. So I've been using this hair butter or whatever, and my hair feels great. I've been using a face scrub. I've been using a body scrub in the shower. I've been putting lotion on more regularly now. So, you know, it's actually changing what I'm doing in terms of my habits as well, and things that I had wanted to do but kind of just got lost in the clutter I wasn't doing. Now they're front and center, and I've committed to either doing them or getting rid of them. And the other thing about if you don't use that kind of stuff, it's really just gonna go bad and it's gonna not smell right and you're gonna need to throw it out. So you might as well just get rid of it before that happens, or use it. Okay, so I think that's all I have for the bathroom. I did find that once I was done getting rid of stuff, and in this book I had read, it had said you were gonna end up with 1/3 to 1/4 of what you started with. And I thought, that's crazy. There was no way I was going to end up with that little stuff because I didn't have that much extra stuff. But it actually turned out to be true. I couldn't believe the stuff that I had that I didn't need, didn't want, and did not bring me joy. So I got rid of all that stuff. I was probably down to probably 1/3 of what I had before. And I had a couple little baskets that I used. And then the only other thing that I wanted to organize my stuff was something to hold my elastics, because I had them just on the cardboard that they came on and I didn't like the way that looked. So then the weirdest thing happened. I had cleaned up my bedroom, decluttered totally, and taken everything out of there. And then one day right next to my bed, I found this cute little box, which it came with a necklace in it. And I swear there was nothing left there. But I had been thinking about what could I put my elastics in, and this is perfect for it. I love it. It gives me a use for this box so that I can keep it, because it's kind of special to me and I wanted to keep it. But I want it to be useful too. So now it's perfect. I love it. So, you know, you're probably going to find things around that you can organize things with and not need to purchase anything separate. And I actually didn't need to purchase anything for organization because I just basically cleared enough stuff out that there's just space. There's just space in my drawers, and I didn't need to, you know, put in dividers or anything because I've got so much stuff that I can't keep track of it. So I think that's the key, really just getting rid of stuff that you don't need, and it feels so good. So I hope this was helpful, and I would love to hear from you about, you know, if you're on a decluttering journey, how it's going. And I am always looking for tips because I am by no means an expert. So I would love to hear from you about things that have worked for you. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.